welcome to Let's Build Your Dumpster Fire. I'm Brian Osa here with Danielle Urban and Matthew Ruxton, and today we're keeping the flame ablaze with the topic of ABM. How you guys doing?
Ready to go.
No, let's go.
Amazing.
Woo woo.
So just like all of our shows, if you haven't tuned in before, we pretty much wing these completely on the fly, and our decision to discuss ABM was decided less than 2 minutes ago, uh, and it came about of the conversation of the HubSpot boot camps that currently spun up, and Matthew joining the ABM one that started yesterday, and we kind of got to talking of just like, okay, I think we think we understand what ABM is, but like we don't know if we're doing it properly or even if this makes sense. And then it started spinning into several different directions. And before we let ourselves dive down that rabbit hole, we just said, screw it, let's go
Go
live. And
live.
so here you are, midway through that conversation.
My hot take is that ABM is like campaign. It means something different to every single person you talk to. The boundaries of what ABM is are very fuzzy and how it gets executed, because I remember when I worked in like giant enterprise way back in the day, and they were like, we're going to do ABM in that we like write logo specific ebooks and like mail it to them and then like buy a billboard outside their office. And when you do like $1 million deals, then sure, go nuts. Like that can be your strategy and you make 2 sales a year, great. But when you pull it back a little bit to the average SaaS company, that's not what ABM looks like. I don't know that it ever actually did look like that. I think it was just theoretical, but I'm very curious as to what you guys are seeing like ABM mean in the real world these days.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
ABM is just the same as what does MQL mean? If
Yeah.
you another rabbit hole of three-digit acronyms that are used excessively in RevOps, RevOps and HubSpot and all that jazz is like, what does MQL mean? What does ABM mean? Are we just saying the words because we like the words and everyone else says the words? Because I definitely, when I was at Inbound in 2023, I remember walking past, and I want to say it was like Crunchyroll is probably not the right term. I'm trying to remember the name of the company is now. Their marketing was so good, I've already forgotten who they are. Adroll? Oh no. They were on the outside bit, like next to the super lounge. But like they were green. Anyway, their marketing team's like, no, they're not watching this. Like they were talking about ABM, and like all I could see was like they just kept saying ABM over and over again, and I'm like, but what does that mean?
yeah.
Like,
And like having tried to experience this and like
Roll
seeing
works.
agencies start embracing it, like 3-4 years ago, because ABM became all the rage after like shortly after COVID, and even towards the back end of COVID primarily, because it was okay at first, let's do webinars because we need to have social things. And then when that became a nightmare because everyone got sick of being on a webcam 24/7, let's lean into ABM. And like a couple friends and I, we were just joking. It's just like, oh, ABM stands for always be marketing, and it's like that's just all it means, because it's just that's just kind of how it felt. And I don't know if I had a good definition for it, other than you just basically do you basically do sales tactics but marketing wise. And so like you're almost like do and what I mean by that is you're doing the like this one-to-one outreach but at scale. And so Danielle, when you're mentioning, it's like, oh yeah, do a personalized billboard and like white paper and all that stuff. It's just like you kind you kind of do that for your clients and or to your clients, and you're just like, that's like that's not scalable if that's even what it is.
Matthew and I are having a sidebar debate about what this branded inbound was. I'm 99% sure you're talking about Rollworks. AdRoll is also, I think, a company, but they're blue, right? And Crunchyroll is a totally different thing, but that's also a
I
real
know it's not
company.
Crunchyroll, and I'm like, I said that like that's not the right one. They're like very
Yeah,
much shame there.
Admiral's blue and
Pretty
white, and
sure it
it's
was
definitely a company.
pretty sure it was Rollworks. I'm seeing their brand green is definitely the green I remember.
Yeah, and their website is all about account-based execution made easy. We should have them in and set the
Oh yeah,
record
the
straight on
fact
what they define as ABM.
yeah,
I am
the
not gonna
fact that
lie.
their SEO terms are basically like ABM, 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 and I'm like that probably makes sense.
I mean, let's just be honest. We're not hating on Rollworks, by the way, at any point. It
No,
just there happened to
it
be
No.
was
the person that
memorable.
were. It was
Although,
memorable
if
enough
you
that I
want to
forgot
pay
who
us
they were.
for making shit up, like, please.
It's just like the first like line under ABM is like drive revenue with intelligence and cross-channel engagement. And I read that and went, that doesn't mean anything. It's just words. It's adjectives and verbs.
I
Like
feel
I
like
like
it's so ABM has been like a different way to skin our metrics. So like instead of having, our vanity web metrics on like we drove this much traffic, it's like we've engaged with this percentage of target accounts.
yeah,
And so it's the same thing. It's just spinning it differently. Like we're still doing the same actions, we're still going to market with a lot of the same things. We're just targeting it more tightly to a persona, which is what we should have been doing in the first place. We're
yeah.
just measuring it differently and calling it something different.
Well,
Yeah.
I think some of it also is just like it's just called doing marketing good.
Hmm.
Like in the sense of like when you think about like doing campaigns and like how you like engage and like personalization and like I think it's just like a nice way to button that up into something that you could present to, no offense to like senior leadership, but to senior leadership is like it's this, we're doing this. And they're like, "Oh, I get it now." Even
Yeah.
though they don't get it, they're just nodding their heads. But I
Afternoon
think some of it is
bingo.
just fair enough. I think some of it's just that where it's like I'm doing this marketing effort and I'm actually I think it's more in line with like, do you have like an ICP? Do you have buyer personas? Do you have like are you measuring buyer intent? Like stuff like that, where I think and based on I've had one lesson in the ABM boot camp. So I consider myself pretty smart on the subject.
Oh yeah.
Um oh yeah. It's just a question of like, is it one to one? Is it one to few or is it one to many? Like I think that's the difference. Like who are you marketing to? And like you can't do it well until you build out like personas and like who are
Yeah.
you? Like that's step one. It's like understand your customer, or who is buying your equipment or software or solution, and are they the same person that makes the buying decision? So I think that's the biggest mistake I see a lot of companies make is like they target the wrong person. It's like you can have someone who's a champion but not the buyer, not the decision maker, and like those are two different very different people. If you don't market
Exactly.
to them separately, it won't work.
Yeah, and in all honesty, like even doing like having this little bit of a conversation, doing like the little bit of the research as on our side tangent about like ad roll versus roll works, is like the is like the whole concept of just like reading through all of this is basically ABM equals jargon term that effectively boils down to how you should be doing marketing in principle. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Matthew, where you're mentioning it's just like you need to start off with two things: an understanding of who you are and an understanding of who your customer is, and then you promote your stuff in that way, focusing on the customer, not yourself.
Yeah,
And like that's all it boils down that's all it boils down to. And then probably all these different terms that we want to throw in here, and like I'm having flashbacks to our conversation about HubSpot jobs of just like, yeah, it's just it all means the same thing, but it's just different words. It's just it's the concept of, okay, you know who you are, you know who your customer is, you address
yeah,
their pain point, and then how do you do it? And that's just the demographical approach. Like, do you mail them something?
Yeah.
Do you
You
do
have a
digital stuff? Do you harass them
right.
on social? What?
You have a total addressable market, which is like everyone you could possibly ever sell to, maybe. And
Mm-hmm.
then
yeah,
you have your target personas within that. And there's like one or two people that you actually have product market fit with. And like, I get when you're a startup, you're still trying to find that product market fit. But then, like, once you nail it, even just once, you run at that. And
yeah.
then you can maybe formulate your target account list and do your ABM approach. But when your target account list is like 75% of your total addressable market, then like, is that really ABM or is that just marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like it's grossly defined as like all activities that are marketing, whereas like I feel like ABM is truly like one. I even say maybe one to one isn't ABM. I think a lot of it could be because like one to one at that point is really like your sales rep talking to someone. I think that there's really like a marketing person is talking directly to someone. That's the point where you're now like sales
Sales.
involved. It's like I think it's the one to few and one to many kind of groups where it's like maybe one to like few, like 5 to 10 people, and then one to many where it's like 20 to 50 people. And then the other stuff where I'm just marketing at large is not ABM. Like it's
Is
you're just
field
marketing at large.
is field marketing ABM? I think yes.
field marketing
I mean,
being
field marketing is just knocking on people's doors. Let's call a spade here,
No,
Daniel.
field marketing is the people who get to go to baseball games in private suites. I
But
say
isn't it
that
also
being
the
someone who
people
went
who
to
get
one.
to show up at show up at conferences and tell you about the product?
But if we get you to show up at a conference or a small meetup group because you're in the area and you're on our target account list, then field marketing has been around forever. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's ancient. That existed way before ABM did.
Well, I
So
mean, isn't field
it's the
marketing
same.
also the idea of like being like quote unquote scrappy, words I don't like using anymore. Because AI has ruined it. But like it's like where you don't want to buy a booth at a conference, so you just like get admission to the conference and just like awkwardly run into people in the hallways that are in your target account list. Like, oh my God, you're here? That's amazing. Also, can I sell you my product? Like, isn't that also field marketing to some extent?
Or is that just mildly illegal selling?
It's not legal.
Well,
Go
some
find the law.
conferences, not legal, but against like agreements from the
Terms and
conference.
conditions.
Yeah,
Ooh, they're gonna get me for my terms and conditions.
they'll kick you out. They get really serious. We
I
tried to
mean,
like have an event one time that was like a party at a conference, and the conference was so strict. They were like, "You can't do that," and we were like,
Oh.
"Okay, but what if we do and don't tell you about it?" They were like, "Okay, fine, this year."
Yeah,
but it's
it's all about the loopholes, and
yeah,
honestly, maybe that's our answer. Maybe that's all ABM is that ABM is just a fancy way of saying loophole marketing, so that you can pretty much say, like it's this guise, this mystical guise of like, okay, so I'm gonna do ABM, so that means I'm gonna go after this person, and I'm going to just do whatever the hell I want to do, and see if it works from
yeah.
an experiment. Whether that is okay, we're going to do traditional marketing or like full on guerrilla tactics, and you just throw that all under the guise of like, oh yes, it's account based marketing because this old dude who's kind of in a very specific demographic, we totally want to go after him in this one way versus we have this very edgy other brand, and so we're gonna go after them with like brand ripoffs where it's just like, hey, like like my mind's flashing back to like a really fabulous guerrilla tactic for that I remember seeing at a IT telecom conference a few years ago. Like, do you want to call home for like a VoIP company that completely ripped off like
Et.
ET the extraterrestrial as an image for the T-shirt, and I still have that shirt, and it's incredible. And it was just like, it was a series of like that Ghostbusters, who you want to like, who you gonna call, and stuff like that, which was just absolutely a brilliant play. But it's just like,
Well, wouldn't you also
that's
argue that like
ABM.
some big companies have done that like at inbound specifically, where they're like, I'm not going to buy booth space. I'm not going to buy like talk. Maybe they do talk, but
Mm-hmm.
like they'll go do like they're just like, oh, come to my happy hour, or come to like we're doing free
I've
drinks
done
from like
that.
5 to 6 in the West End. Like, I mean, I'm like everyone likes free alcohol, so like those sort of things are also fall into that category too, where you're like, inbound can't stop you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but like you
they'll
just be
just wag
adjacent.
they'll wag
Like,
your finger and say, no, no, don't do that. We just want to invite you back next year, and then you're like, okay, remember my name.
what's my name? McRoy.
Yep.
You're
I'll
not a
just
cop. You
switch
can't
down to
ask me
something
that.
else. It's fine. It's easy to buy a domain, so like whatever. But really though, brings it back to questions like, like, is that ABM? Like, are we even on the right? Like, have we even answered the question of what it is,
Yeah.
other than giving a whole bunch of random answers, which is,
Let's
I guess,
Google
is the whole
this.
point of the show.
Uh-oh. You should ask Google so you can see what Gemini says, and then we should ask
Ooh,
ChatGPT, and then we should
Yeah.
ask what DeepSeek says because that's the new cool hip thing to use, even though it's CCP RAM. And be like, ooh, what do they all say account-based marketing is?
Google says account based marketing, ABM, is a business strategy that focuses on a specific group of target accounts. It uses personalized campaigns to engage with each account. Again, that's just good marketing. Like, that's what we were supposed to be doing this whole time.
Believe it's like I feel like we need that meme. This is why we need a producer. I feel like that the meme that we need to have is like it's the Scooby Doo meme where it's like ABM is just good marketing, and it's just like, oh,
oh yeah, pulling off. Yeah, and
It
like,
reminds me of that ad with the old lady where she's like, "That's not what this is. That's not what any
oh
of
my
this
God,
is," when
I
they
miss
post
those
to their
things.
wall. It was such a
Yeah.
great ad.
What are you doing? I'm liking your post. And he's like, that's not how any of this works.
oh, but yeah, I think that looking up the definition, I love that, and I took that back, and like I actually asked that same question: what is ABM? Literally verbatim in both ChatGPT and Claude, so we can kind of play with this conversation. Giving the definition I got from Claude verbatim is account-based marketing is a strategic business marketing approach that focuses on targeting and engaging high-value accounts rather than pursuing broader market segments. ChatGPT says ABM stands for account based marketing. It's a strategic approach where a business focuses its marketing efforts on specific target accounts rather than a broad audience. The goal is to tailor marketing and sales efforts to individual companies or accounts that are most likely to convert into high value customers. Okay, first of all, I'm not going to go into the commentary about how silly it is for LLMs that are like pulling off like almost verbatim content. We're just going to ignore that for right now because that's kind of funny.
Well,
Um,
20 bucks says they're all pulling it from HubSpot's website.
yeah, probably. And
That
it's
blog with the traffic tanked for.
but like, but like, let's really though, like, let's break down this. Like, I think it would be kind of a fun exercise to just break down that like that definition. Like what do these words mean? Like, account-based marketing. All right, we'll ignore that term because that's what we're talking about. Is a
Yeah.
strategic business marketing approach. That
Marketing.
is glorious jargon in the best way possible.
Yes.
That
It's
focuses
just
on
jargon.
targeting and engaging
Marketing.
marketing,
Marketing.
high value accounts. I mean,
For
there.
ICP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, like? I don't know about you guys, but my whole business proposition is to sell to the person who gives me the least amount of money. Ideally,
Yeah.
I'm actually paying them to buy my services, right? I don't
Yeah.
want high value. That's not the point.
I mean, that's how
No.
Uber built their business, but
Yeah.
we're talking
Rather
about
than
B2B
pursuing
here.
broader market segments. Oh, really? So I am targeting my ideal customer persona, not just like I'm not trying to be like, hey, look, buy my services to the dude not like to the dude in the auto shop who's focused on repairing their car. It's just like I don't even understand it is what you do, let alone why I should buy it from you, or the fact that
Yeah.
everyone who comes to me is just comes to me because their grandfather's grandfather came to me way back in the day.
That's for banking and apparently your trucks.
Yes.
So
Yes.
context missing right there.
Sore subject on that one because we've been talking about all of that good stuff and how my fuel sucking machine is just so paid off
Let's
that I
just
want to get rid of it, but it's paid off.
we'd like Toyota, if you're watching, please use Brian in your next ad campaign for how his entire family has bought Toyota trucks.
He'll make sure you reach
We'll
your
chill out
target
for you.
ICPs.
Brian is their ICP.
But really though,
It's
like
still, it's just like this, it's good marketing. And you can do marketing that is bad marketing. But I think there's
Yes.
some like context that we haven't really talked about because we all live in the B2B world. And I usually live in B2B SaaS, which is like super specific. They're trying to solve a single problem.
mhm,
And so that world, your total addressable market is like the same as your target account list. Like there
mhm,
are
Yeah.
not that many people out there. And so when it comes down to it, it's like that is ABM is just the new thing that we're calling it so that we stay trendy and our CEO thinks we're doing enough. But when it comes down to like, you know, someone selling, I don't know, this coffee mug that I have sitting on my desk, like their total addressable market is the entire population that has any income
People who drink
whatsoever.
coffee.
Right.
People
Not
who
even
drink
that.
coffee.
My
And even
kids
people
drink
who drink
hot
beverages.
cocoa. Somebody
People who
drinks
drink hot
tea.
beverages.
Some weirdos drink smoothies out of mugs. Like, I don't
no,
know. Could be
but but
anybody.
but it's not even
Madness.
drinking. Maybe use it for your breakfast cereal, and then you're eating out of it, and then it
It's your
truly
pen
opens up
cup.
a paradox.
Yeah, it's collecting
Yeah, there you go.
things. Yeah.
It's an office supply. Like
So there, your target account list is not.
Anyone who needs a method
No.
of, I feel like it'd be a fun exercise, just like let's pick like major brands and pick out who their ICP is. Because
and just break
just,
it because
yeah, like it's just anyone who breathes.
yeah.
It goes back to that whole
Yeah.
like, when people would reach out to you, like, I also breathe oxygen. We might have a mutual connection.
Yes.
Situation that went
LinkedIn
through LinkedIn
outreach.
like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was still getting it. I remember those. I also breathe. I think we might have something in combined, and that was before AI. Let's get real for a second. That was before AI came out and made it worse. So the amount, I mean, I'm diverging because why not? There's no format here. The amount of LinkedIn messages I've gotten recently where it's like people like they'll reach out to me and I just don't respond, and then they reach out again and I don't respond, and like their third one is like, oh, I feel like you're not responding to me. No shit, Sherlock. Um, like type one if like this isn't a good time, or type two if you've not had time to respond. Like if I've not had time to respond, I'm not going to type two back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like fishing for engagement, and I'm like, I hate it. I hate it so much. I wish I could just
Oh
have
yeah.
like a messaging thing that's like some because this is also like pissing me off. You can't do like automated messaging on LinkedIn, like to respond, and it's
Mhm.
stupid annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I could just be like, no, no, no,
No,
thank you.
you're not wrong on that, and it is truly an issue, and it's just it's so funny. Like you bring that up, and it reminds me of a connection request I got, I think literally 2 days ago. Just like some guy reaching out, just like, hey, look, I want to network with you because I noticed that we're in the same industry, and I think we can provide support to each other. And I want to talk to you about this new value offering. And I was just like, okay, let's click on the profile and see what you're actually talking about. And it's just like manufacturing space focusing on hose sales. And I'm like, what part of my anything tells you that I'm remotely related to you? And so, like, it's gotten to a tactic that I actually got from Chris. So, thanks, Chris, if you're watching, which you probably are, of just like the immediate thing you do when someone messages you or adds you is like, great, how'd you find me? And just
Yeah,
watching people like, huh, and like immediately panic or give their genuine response. That's like oftentimes it's a good way to validate, hey, do I actually want to have this person to talk to,
yeah.
or is it just total BS? Because if they're not gonna answer you, if they added you and then aren't gonna answer, or they are going, or if they've added you and give you something that's like total nonsense, you're just like, bye.
I mean, my favorite is I had someone reach out to me the other day that was like, "Hey, I see you have a role posted. I'd love to help fill that. We have like, I'm like, I posted a role 9 months ago, and it's
Yep.
been filled 8 months ago." And my
Mm-hmm.
response back was like, "Did you look at the time? Like, we haven't like posted for a role. Like, it's like laid into the person. They never responded.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, they probably just like scared. But I was like, what? Why are you reaching out to me? Like, no, like this
Yeah.
isn't how this works.
Yeah.
It's not how any of this works.
Yeah, it's almost like those old sales emails that are just like, "Hey, I see you work for insert company name here. I think I
Yes.
can help you with that." And you go back to and you read like where clearly was the insert company name here, and you're just like, "Yeah, I did work for them about 10 years ago, but like
My
the
favorite is
fact
like,
that you're
we can
telling me that I'm
help.
working for this company that I haven't gone under the guise of in so many years
On
is just
on
I'm like,
LinkedIn that has my up to date like current employer listed at the
uh-huh.
top of the page.
It's so easy
Love
to
that.
get that
Love that
information
so
now."
much.
Yeah.
Would you be interested
I
in some point of sale information? I'm like, no, no, because I don't work in that industry anymore. So why are you messaging me?
I love getting the emails that are like, we can help your company consultant. Like, bet you can't.
Oh yeah.
I think you need me more than I need you. Um,
Or we can help your company, and then like this double space with a comma where it's like it's clearly supposed to fill in,
They forgot
but
their
like
fallback.
someone did bad marketing and didn't even throw in a global placeholder in case this didn't fall in case you didn't actually have the information. It's just like, come on, that's like
some people,
that's
But you were on their
ABM, guys.
targeted
global
comp
It's
list.
placeholders.
Oh, hold on. No, maybe that's all ABM is. It's just making sure that your list has all the right information so you can send a targeted email and it actually fills in all the properties.
Yeah.
Or my
How
favorite, like, can we help you at Big Business Inc. And it's in like, all caps because they haven't done like any sort of caps, like
Yeah.
no
checking on their
validation.
account. Or my favorite, like, because I started putting emojis in front of my name on LinkedIn so I can track out people are just like
Yep.
spamming my LinkedIn.
Yep.
And they're like, dear exclamation point, exclamation point. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. No, it's
decline.
it's a good thing to do, and good. Like, glad you mentioned that. Pro tip: adding some kind of emote or special character into your name on LinkedIn, if you throw it off ever so slightly, if you're getting lots of those, is a really good way to keep that in check in a very
Yeah,
entertaining way.
Good to know.
so much fun.
Yeah. So, uh, but what what we would love to see, because I know we're clearly we don't know what we're talking about, and I'm probably running out of steam
Yeah,
because we don't know what we're talking about.
yeah.
Please share with us what your perspective is about what the hell ABM is, because like I would love to hear other people's takes. And I know this is a like I know we were talking at the latter point of last year about potentially bringing guests onto this here and there. I think this would be a really entertaining topic to bring in, like two or three guests who classify themselves as like experts in the space, and like have that conversation to determine, like, we need to do this with people who are experts in the space that we actually know versus complete
Yeah,
randoms, because like I don't want to
but I mean,
completely troll the heck out of someone who I don't know. But if it's like, if we happen, I'm sure we have people on our network who are actually
Who do
good
we
at
know
this
at
stuff who can
Rollworks?
explain what it actually means and how you should be doing it.
Poor
who
Rollworks.
can we get at Rollworks?
Yep.
This week's episode presented by Rollworks.
And we don't get a commission, but
No,
hint, hint, wink, wink.
if anyone would like to send me free shit, I will happily
Always
peddle
down
your
for that.
crap. Always down for that. Peddle everything.
Didn't they
You know
have
how
the
hard it is to
screen
get like
printing?
HubSpot shit? Like I had to steal this from Inbound. This sticker. And even then, it's a sticker I cut because this is HubSpot Academy. It's just too aggressively long, so I just cut off the Academy part. So like, I want a HubSpot sticker.
Nice. I mean, that's the right way to go, just to make sure that you have everything you need. So yeah, maybe.
It's a
Yep.
personal plea to my CSM right now, who definitely doesn't watch this. I'd be like, hey, get me some free shit, thanks.
Yep. That's all you need to do. That's ABM, free branded shit that your customer likes. And so,
Highly
you want it,
effective. Not gonna lie.
if anyone wants to do ABM efforts to Matthew, just send him free stickers about your brand and hope that he likes your
Well,
brand.
make sure the sticker's not too big that it won't fit on my Yeti cup. That's kind of like the sort of like
Mm,
the litmus test. Like, will it fit on my Yeti cup? And if it doesn't, then I can't do business with you. I feel like the running joke is the amount of times you'll see stuff and it's like, attend this webinar and get a free insert item here. And like I remember like seeing this here in military, like you're in Silicon Valley when you go to Goodwill and all the stores just full of like branded Yetis that definitely came from like free shit.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, like that's the thing is like what's like the one thing that you guys have gotten that you've actually like used? So I'm trying to think like if there's something like I've gotten something. Actually, the one thing I got and it was free.
My little fidget. I got this from like an IT telecom, not an IT telecom. This one was an MSP expo that I went to back in just before COVID, actually. I think back in like 2019, and like it is so there used to be a logo here. You would never know it, but like it
Yeah.
is used that heavily, and it is the it's the best thing. I use it almost every day, and it's just these little things that you don't even think about are just fantastic.
I
I
have
Granted,
mean, I
one.
definitely have
I don't know who gave it.
something,
I don't remember what company gave
but
it
I've
to me,
lost it.
which I guess is kind of defeats the purpose, but still.
One of my clients sent me a Yeti coffee mug, like travel
Nice.
mug, and I use it every single morning. They're not even a client of mine anymore, but I still use it all the time. And the
Well,
other
I feel
thing I
like
use, I spent a lot of money advertising with the company way back in my corporate days, and they sent me a Bluetooth speaker that's like actually a really good one. And that thing is it's over 10 years old at this point, and I still
the
use it
stores.
for
Yeah.
Yeah.
every trip.
Yeah. I remember being at the startup, and like when you worked with some of those hardware companies, like one of the companies we were selling to at the time was Google. And so every time we had a meeting scheduled with Google, we got a free laptop and a free Jabra, because it doesn't say Google like not scheduling you a like you're not scheduling a meeting, you're getting mailed a Chromebook with a Jabra for every meeting that gets scheduled with the team. And that was just I think in that 6 month window we had a half dozen calls with the Google team, and we had that many Chromebooks, which all had to be owned by the company, even though I don't know why the company wanted them, but like it's
Donate
perfect.
those to a school or something. Yeah, we also have
Chromebooks are
really bad.
terrible.
Yeah, but they do use them a lot in schools. But I was gonna say I got so much stuff after I paid people money. I did not get a whole lot of stuff before I paid people money.
Right.
So
Hmm.
here's your free advice when you're running an ABM strategy. Send us things before we spend money with you, and then maybe we will.
Yep.
So I feel like there's an ROI reason for that, which is like we've already gotten the money from you. That's why we're sending you the free stuff.
Yeah.
That's why they're
Please
doing that,
keep spending
Danielle.
money. That's their customer retention strategy. But I do miss those days when people would just pay you to take demos. That was like maybe
The
like 3
dream.
years ago. It was a
Yeah.
trend where like you
Oh,
would get
I
50
made a
bucks or
couple
100
grand off
bucks.
that.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I stiff HubSpot all the time when they send out UX surveys, and they're like, "We'll pay you like the most I've gotten like $100 from them one time for one UX
Oh wow,
survey."
that's yeah.
Yeah,
There are a few of them where it's just like, we'll do an interviewed research study with you,
yeah,
and you'll get like it was $300 for an hour, and I did a few of those, and it
yeah.
was
I do
amazing.
them for free because I like to feel like I'm important.
Yeah, like I did a
I mean,
couple of
same.
Adobe talking about something like this stuff, and they're like each one I did was like, there was a few that was like 200, 250. It was just like, cool, I'm fine with that. That's better than what. Like I'll take time out of my workday because it's definitely better than my hourly rate at my current job that I'll totally ignore and work for this.
God, I love those.
Yeah.
Send me gift cards. It's always like they send gift cards. I do like when let you pick the gift card. Like we're gonna send you like $50. Pick the gift card you want. And I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
is one of
Yeah.
them a Visa gift card? So I can just get the money.
Yep.
One of my lovely, I don't even know what to call them. They're like a client, a partner. We just hang out in inbound basically and have some things in common. We both breathe oxygen.
Oh,
They,
okay. Yeah.
I
So I
referred
got a
them some
count.
business, and they've like paid me a percentage of their recurring revenue off that business, which is wonderful. And I never expect from referrals. But
Yeah.
then they also sent me a like gifting platform thingy where they were like gonna send me olive oil, but which I would love. I went to culinary school. I love a good olive oil, but I also could pick from a restaurant gift card, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go get free dinner. Thanks.
Um,
Feed me food.
no, that absolutely the best way to do it. And yeah, with that, I know we all like a couple of us had a hard stop right about now. So thank you all for joining us today. And yes, like mentioned, please give us your thoughts because we want to know what this is and talk about it more.
And
And
also, we
until
like free
next
stuff.
week, where we continue to
Also,
inspire.
please send us free stuff.
Oh yeah, free stuff too. Free stuff, particularly money. Yes.
Yeah, we like
Send,
money.
yeah, money and stickers for Matthew, and
Yep.
he'll distribute them accordingly because that's how this works. Yes, he will, because he's going to do ABM. Um, and that's how we will keep the dumpster fire burning until next week. Have a good week, everyone.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Uh,
sorry, I couldn't
That
resist
was
that like
perfect.
a quick little
that was
one.
perfect.
The exact right sign off.
Yep. Yep.